It's Slate Night, the Film Fan Podcast. Now, here are your hosts, Corey and Mason.
Welcome back to another episode of Slate Night, the Film Fan Podcast. We are here with a very special episode, Oscar nominations for the 2026 Oscars, the 98th Academy Awards. Very excited to be here. I'm one of your co-hosts, Corey Knutson, here with my best buddy, Mason Schmidt.
I'm drinking today.
We broke dry January.
It's a celebratory thing. We're talking about the Oscars. I always, Oscars is I buy an expensive bottle of red wine. We watch the Oscars. Sometimes there's yelling involved, especially if Nora is up for big awards or Amelia Perez. But thankfully this year, a lot of these nominees are kind of the expected ones that are going to be in the category. So it's just a lot of hell yeah, this has been a really solid year for film. So this is going to be fun. We'll talk about kind of all the nominations from this year of film. We'll look at kind of things that maybe we think could have been reworked or not necessarily snubs, but the way me and Corey kind of coin it, mostly Corey, omissions, because I hate the word snub and I will fucking die on that hill. But yeah, we're going to talk about movies that we really, most of which we really love this year. But first, Corey, I know you wanted to talk about some of the films that didn't get a single nomination from this year, some of which were really surprising.
Yeah, so we'll kind of touch on some of these in individual categories, but kind of wanted to limit this list to things that were either on the Oscar shortlist or were primed for a nomination, had been talked about, or just kind of talked about it in our kind of year-end review of the After the Hunt Award type movies, where movies that come out in the fall and you think they're going to be Oscar contenders and then just kind of fall off.
They burn out so quick.
Yeah, we had a few of those that'll be at the end of this list, but the big one, Wicked for Good, we're going to get into that in the many categories that we think it should have been nominated. Just to kind of rattle off the other ones here. Jay Kelly, The Testament of Ann Lee, Wake Up Dead Man, Nuremberg, Die My Love, No Other Choice, another very surprising one.
That's a massive one.
We'll talk about that one as well. Nouvelle Vague, Ballad of a Small Player, Is This Thing On, A House of Dynamite, Springsteen, The Life of Chuck.
My favorite. My second favorite
One
film
of your favorites from
2025.
We'll get into
that has been shifted massively.
Rental Family, Hedda, Kiss of the Spider Woman, Anemone, and gotta end with After the Hunt, of course.
Obviously.
So, yeah, just a lot of things that kind of came out and had a lot of buzz, and a lot in here, actually, that I think should have been nominated. We probably both agree on some of those, but just wanted to shout out, not shout them out, but just kind of mention those before we get into the bulk of it, but diving into Best Picture, kind of the big storyline of the ceremony, or of the announcement, was Sinners getting 16 nominations, so we'll kind of dive into that with the 10 Best Picture nominees.
Yeah, so we're going to start off. We got Begonia, F1, the movie, which is a horrible title. We'll just call it F1. But I'm happy that you included the : the movie. F1, nominated for Best Picture. A little bit surprising. Frankenstein, Hamnet, Marty Supreme, One Battle After Another, Sentimental Value, Sinners, obviously, Train Dreams, and The Secret Agent. Two of which, I always hate that this happens. It's not a bad thing. It just kind of somewhat spoils other categories. But we have two of the international feature films that get nominated. Later on, we'll talk about those. They're in this Best Picture nominee race as well. Obviously, we had kind of a lot of the expected ones with Frankenstein, Hamnet, Marty Supreme, One Battle After Another, Sinners, Sentimental Value. Some of these are really expected. Some of them were... Maybe one of them was kind of a surprise to some people, with F1 making it in there. But I think that that's something that me and you both really enjoy to see within this list. Because I feel like growing up, it was always the snobby, pretentious art house, The King's Speech, which is a great movie. But to get a movie like F1, I'm like, this is a good way to honor films that had a large pull, a large outreach, big blockbuster movies, fun movies, a good time at the theaters for the whole family. Not something that's so pretentious or elitist or in your face, it's artsy, it's dramatic, it's important. No, it's just a well-made fun time at the theater, which we need to celebrate. We don't need to make a separate category of best box office achievement.
Yeah, fuck that.
But yeah, these are our 10 picks. I do like that we have 10 films. do all 10 necessarily have the biggest shot at winning Best Picture? I think realistically, like 4 of them, 4 or 5, if you want to be conservative with that estimate. Corey, were there any kind of big surprises to you? You can kind of dive into those omissions too that we have listed at the bottom there of the Best Picture nominees that we kind of might have expected, I guess.
Yeah, like even with these 10, you mentioned F1 is like sort of the odd one out, was kind of the surprise of the morning, I feel like. Like, these are kind of the 10 that a lot of people have been mentioning, like, so not a huge thing here. The one that I really wanted to get in was It Was Just an Accident. That was on my personal 10 when I was just like making my predictions for what would get nominated. Was hoping that would get in there. No Other Choice, obviously, was kind of hoping that would be in there as well. Wicked for Good had a big fall off. We'll mention that in other specific categories. And then some like Jay Kelly and Weapons had kind of been there, but not really. But yeah, I mean, you know, Wicked for Good, the first movie got nominated for Best Picture, second one did not. This is also the first time ever that an Avatar movie has not been nominated for Best Picture. Avatar and Avatar The Way of Water both got in, Fire and Ash, which I agree with, is not deserving of that award, even if, like, I think you like that movie. But
I like that movie a lot, but I'm not
Picture,
making that argument that it deserves to be in this category. I'm actually really pretty solidly thrilled with all 10 of these nominees. I don't think that there's, like, I don't use the word snub because I think that for something to be a snub, it has to, the thing that was omitted has to have had a chance at winning, like, was likely to win that award that it was not nominated for. The things that missed, like, It Was Just an Accident, I would have loved to see it on this list of nominees. It's not there. It's not a snub to me. I wish it was, but that's more of like a personal kind of attachment and love for that film. It's subjective. So, No Other Choice was another big omission for me. I don't think it's a snub because, like, you can make an argument here with a lot of these films. A lot of the 10 here, the 10 nominees, they deserve to be here. I personally would have really liked Weapons to be on here, maybe in that F1 spot, only because I'm a big horror fan and I love that Sinners is garnering so much attention. Keep that horror love alive within the Oscars and genre filmmaking alive. We have Frankenstein as well, which, like, horror by default of the genre, but, like, is it a horror movie? It's kind of. But I'm a big fan of the 10 that we have. It's a really solid, fun, kind of eclectic group. I really enjoy all of these movies here, too, which I don't think we've consistently been able to say about last year, at least. So I think that this is a good, like, if you are a fan of movies and you didn't watch any of these 10 nominees and you want to prepare for the Oscars, I think you can go out, watch any of these 10 and have a good time. Like, I think anyone can watch these movies and have a great time. So I think that this is a really fun Oscars, and it's refreshing almost to have movies that are just kind of out there for everyone. They're for the taking. One battle after another. That's kind of maybe my favorite to win. That or Sinners. Like I said, it's kind of a toss-up between, like, 4 of them. Hamnet's in there. Marty Supreme's in there. But I think it's just such a good group of 10 movies. Sure, I wish that maybe we could have switched some things around, but I'm overall very pleased with this.
And it's very interesting because One Battle After Another got 13 total nominations, which is, before the announcement ceremony. Which just to briefly shout out, Daniel Brooks and Louis Pullman did a good job of announcing the movies at like 7:30 in the morning, our time. It's like 5:30 in LA where they announce it.
Every year I have to fucking do the Google search because I don't understand time zones. I apparently no one taught me that enough as a kid. So I always have to Google, what's fucking Pacific time? 5:30 Pacific time? How is that? Minnesota time. Googled it like 4 times, and then just eventually I had it bookmarked and pulled up like the live stream of where it was going to be on YouTube of the Oscars announcements for the nominations. And I was just like, all right, I just can't delete this window. It's just it's going to stay on my browser, my monitor at work for a week straight, and it did. But I'm thrilled that I did that.
Yeah, but so anyways, a good announcement ceremony from those two, but. One Battle After Another, like I said, got 13 nominations, so the Academy thinks that is just as good as Emilia Perez. Take that as you will. But, I mean, the big story was Sinners getting 60 nominations. I mentioned that's a record for most all-time nominations for a single movie. It beat the record that was held by 3 movies, one of which was La La Land, my favorite movie of all time, along with All About Eve and Titanic, which all had 14. So... big for Sinners. I know there's been a lot of love for that. Some backlash. People are like, it didn't deserve that many. And we'll talk about some of the categories that maybe it should or shouldn't be in. But I agree, a very diverse group of 10 movies. Even with F1 being the surprise, I'm like, that movie's a lot of fun. Like, it's a great... That's the movie that would get nominated and win a lot back in, like, the 90s and 80s. You know, like that type of feel-good blockbuster that everyone loves. So, very fun group of movies there. Moving into Best Director, again, kind of like... There've been like 5 or 6 that were kind of in the running for this, so not a huge surprise. We have Chloe Zhao for Hamnet, Paul Thomas Anderson for One Battle After Another, Ryan Coogler for Sinners, Joachim Trier for Sentimental Value, and Josh Safdie for Marty Supreme. That was the one I was most excited about, was Josh Safdie. He was kind of in that, like, he might get in, might not. The kind of, like, omissions that were, or snubs, I don't really, like, snubs to me, I know you don't like the word, but...
Snubs, it's just overused to me.
That's fair. Like, snubs for me is just, like... I know you think it's like it has a shot to win. I think it's like has a shot to be nominated. So it's whatever you want to call it. Snub omission. But Jafar Panahi for It Was Just an Accident. Guillermo del Toro had kind of been in there for Frankenstein. And then Kleber Mendonca-Filo for The Secret Agent had sort of been there as well. A great year for international movies. So Joachim Trier kind of became the one of the international. There's usually one every year in international that gets in. But great group of 5. I have no issues with these. It's like I said, not a lot of surprises here. It's kind of the 5 that I sort of had expected, even if like 1 or 2 of them were switched out. Yeah,
I've kind of increasingly seen some backlash of Guillermo del Toro not getting one of these nominees, just with Frankenstein kind of having such a presence. Just the awards run and then getting 9 nominations on this, at least Thursday morning when these nominations came out. I've seen some people kind of be like, how does he not get in there? I'm like, well, okay, there's 10 Best Picture nominees. We only have 5 directors. It's just naturally going to happen. I love Guillermo del Toro. He did a great job. He always does a great job. But I'm not disappointed by these 5. This was, to me, kind of the expected 5. Maybe switch out Trier for Panahi, and that's kind of what I thought was going to happen. But like you said, it is usually like, it's weird how it is typically one of the international feature directors will jump into that Best Director race as well. I really like these 5. I don't know who I'm between 3, 2. It's the same with Best Picture where I'm like, I don't know who's going to win 1 or 2. Like, there's a dark horse. There's one that's for sure going to win. There's this one that could also, 2 could split. 1 takes the rest because the other 2 split. Like, I'm really excited. Best Director is usually the award that I am the most interested in and the one I care the most about. I think I'd love to see Ryan Coogler win this. Obviously, we're not really doing our predictions, but that's just who I would love to see win because Sinners does have such a stamp on this year of 2025 in terms of film. But I love this group. I think it's a good, diverse group. It's like different films. Personally, I would have chose Panahi over Trier just because It Was Just an Accident for me has really had a lot of staying power, more so than Sentimental Value. But yeah, these are all great films, great directors, so I'm not necessarily surprised. And I'm not really mad with the 5 that we got. So I'm pretty thrilled with this category. Moving into Best Lead Actor. Again, this kind of is a lot of the 5 that we've been talking about a lot of this past award season. We got Timothée Chalamet for Marty Supreme, Leonardo DiCaprio for One Battle After Another, Ethan Hawke for Blue Moon, which I saw for the first time this past week, and he's fantastic. He deserves the nomination. Michael B. Jordan for Sinners, and Wagner Moura for The Secret Agent. Some notable omissions. You could potentially throw Joel Edgerton in there for Train Dreams, Jesse Plemons for Begonia, Dwayne Johnson, which was talked about a lot this past year, at least when Smashing Machine was finally coming out in theaters, even though no one really saw it. They were saying Dwayne Johnson was going to be in that race. He fell short of it, but he still turned in great work. Timothée Chalamet did become the youngest male actor to get 3 acting Oscar nominations, which... honestly, that could be highlighting a lot of things. A lot of the awards buzz and the way things have been leaning. I think Timothée Chalamet might walk away with the award at the end of the night. So I'm really excited about that. Another big thing, Wagner Moura became the first Brazilian actor nominated for an acting Oscar. He's awesome in The Secret Agent. That movie itself, while very, I think, well realized, it just hasn't had as much of a staying power as some of the other films from this past year. But he is sensational in that movie. And for him to get that nomination, I'm sold on that. I love that. So we have kind of the expected 5, I feel like. There are some others that you could maybe have switched out, but this was kind of inevitable, I feel like, with this group of 5.
This was the 5 that I predicted there. So, yeah, I mean, with Timothy, it's like, I think he is the front runner at this point with his 3 nominations, Call Me By Your Name, Complete Unknown, Marty Supreme. That's a diverse group of movies, and he's only going to keep doing more.
He's the Daniel Day-Lewis of his generation, or he has the potential to become the Daniel Day-Lewis of his generation. He's got a good drive. He's got a good head on his shoulders. He's a great talent. I still think his best performance to this date that probably could have gotten him an Oscar nomination instead of A Complete Unknown would have been Dune Part 2 as Paul Atreides, Lisa Al-Gaib, Muad'Dib. Like, give it to me. Like, that speech scene when he's, all right, I'm pointing the way. That came up on Instagram earlier today, and I was next to my wife. I was like, "You need to watch this," even though she's seen the fucking movie with me. That scene fucking sells it, kills it every time. But yeah, this year, I love the group. Michael B. Jordan, one of the only actors, only of the 5 that did dual roles this year. He's the only one that got nominated, but sensational. Smokestack Twins, I fucking love them.
Great.
This is such a great year. People, check out Blue Moon, just because I feel like of the nominees, Blue Moon and The Secret Agent, they're probably the more underseen films. Ethan Hawke in Blue Moon is sensational, and it's very unlike anything I've seen from him before. He kills it. And Richard Linklater sets him up, tees him up just well. He didn't get a nomination for anything. Blue Moon is kind of scarcely populated in terms of awards nominations for this Oscars, so I think it's worth a watch going into this award show.
It's a fun mix of, like, I think you mentioned Timmy's kind of, you compared him to Daniel Day-Lewis. I compare him to, like, Leo DiCaprio, which is going off
against Leo DiCaprio.
So it's kind of fun there. Ethan Hawke, I think, is one of my favorite actors personally ever. Like, I think has such great range. So I can't wait to watch Blue Moon in the future here. Moving into Best Lead Actress, we had Jessie Buckley for Hamnet, Rose Byrne for If I Had Legs I'd Kick You, Renata Reinsve for Sentimental Value, Emma Stone for Begonia, and Kate Hudson for Song Sung Blue. That was the big surprise here. She kind of had a late surge. She got a SAG award or actor award, whatever. It's old habits die hard.
Actors awards,
yeah,
whatever it is.
You know, it's SAG, whatever. Fuck off. But she got a SAG nomination, actor nomination, and kind of snuck her way into this. Song Sung Blue came out late, and it had just a surge and a lot of support behind her performance. The one that she kind of took out that a lot of people had in the 5 was Chase Infinity for One Battle After Another. I think that's a supporting performance, and I think she probably would have got nominated if they campaigned it that way.
Yeah.
Which we get that every year with whether this person should be here supporting, lead, whatever.
I don't know if you remember this because it was back in like 2009 when we were still really young, but The Fighter with like Christian Bale, Mark Wahlberg, who's a supporting, who's a lead, and all that debacle, which then landed Christian Bale his first Academy Award. And there's a lot of pushback on like, well, he's not in the right category. Like, of course he's going to win in that category. He's more like, whatever. I agree with you though. Chase Infinity, that is more of a supporting performance. Tam Taylor is more of that lead, even though she probably has less screen time in that movie overall. That character, that performance, that is the lead supporting, or that is the lead actress to me in that film. But I am surprised to not see Chase Infinity on this list.
I just thought with the love for One Battle, she would be in there, so that's kind of my fifth slot. But she's great in that movie, and she'll be back. She'll be in a lot of other movies. Can't wait to see her. Again, the fall off for Wicked for Good. Cynthia Erivo got nominated last year, not in the best 5 for this year. It's you hear it sometimes with like a movie that has a sequel coming out, and people will say like, well, they're waiting to award the movie for the second part or for the final chapter of this thing.
Not this one.
Like, you shouldn't always think like that because you never know how it's going to be. So it's again a really good group of 5 here. Emma Stone becomes the youngest woman in history with 7 Oscar nominations. Let's see if I can remember all the 7 right now. Obviously Begonia for acting, and then The Favorite, Poor Things, La La Land, and Birdman. And then she was a producer on Begonia and Poor Things. I think I have those 7 right.
Okay. So they're not all acting. I just took that at face value and immediately assumed acting.
So 5 acting, 2 producing. So that's great there. Kate Hudson, nominated, 25 years after Almost Famous. So it's been a while since she's been...
Been a while.
Jessie Buckley, since The Lost Daughter, Maggie Gyllenhaal's movie from a few years back. She was a supporting actress nominee there. And then Rose Byrne and Renata Ryan's, I believe, the first time that they've both not been nominated. So great to see there. Again, just a great group of 5. Again, kind of the expected, like even in the late surge, I was like, Kate Hudson could get in. I'm excited to watch that movie. I know you watched it. We'll talk about that in our main episode, but excited to check that out just because I've heard really good things about it.
Yeah, Kate Hudson was the surprise. I watched the movie. She is exceptional in the movie. Is she the top 5 best female lead performances of the year? That I don't know. And I agree with you on the Chase Infinity of that being more of a supporting kind of role. So it's like, it's kind of a toss-up. I don't know who I would immediately put in Kate Hudson's place, but that was still a surprise to me. That being said, I'm happy to see her on the list. I love Kate Hudson. Almost Famous, like you mentioned, sensational. She's amazing. She has amazing pipes, especially in this movie and in Almost Famous. But she's a great performer. I really like this list. Jessie Buckley and Rose Byrne are kind of like the 2 front runners for me. Rose Byrne is exceptional and really surprised me in what she did. And if I had legs, I'd kick you. But I do think that this is likely going to be Jessie Buckley's year, which I'm not mad about either. Yeah. So a good group of 5. I'm really excited about how that kind of works out. And I don't think I'd be upset with anyone winning in this category. I think I know where it's going to go, but it could go to anyone and I'd be thrilled. So it's a good group of 5. Moving into Best Supporting Actor, we got Benicio del Toro.
Few small beers.
One of the best, most quotable performances.
I just keep seeing clips
ever.
I've had a few.
It's never going to go away. In colleges, like, the Friday Beers, guys, is like, you got to put that on shirts. You need to put it on flags. It's going to be in dorms,
the Modelos, the everything.
For the rest of eternity. Yes. It is a all-time performance. Is he going to win? No, who knows? But he is nominated alongside one of his co-stars in the film, Sean Penn. One battle after another, obviously, between the 2 of them. Sean Penn, fucking putting the entire comb in his mouth before combing his hair. Crazy move.
Wild.
Love it. Love him in this movie. Honestly, for me, he might be the best performance of all of 2025. Is he going to win? I don't know. I used to think that, but then we got a kid named Jacob Elordi who also is potentially meeting with Denis Villeneuve for James Bond. Who knows? 6'7" fucking James Bond. Sure, why not?
He's Sneak around at 6'7".
Yeah, that's not inconspicuous at all. But Jacob Elordi also nominated for Frankenstein, which we've started to see him kind of gain some steam here. The 2 really cool nominations we got, which were somewhat of a surprise. Stellan Skarsgård for Sentimental Value and Delroy Lindo for Sinners. These are both of their first Oscar nominations ever. And with Delroy Lindo, I was like, how? With both of them, I was like, how the fuck have they gone this long and not gotten a nomination? Stellan Skarsgård to me is like Father Time of acting, basically. Like he is an immovable object. He has always been around. He's always been sensational. I'm like, how have you've been in the game? You wrote the game. You are the game. Like, how have you not gotten a nomination yet? Do I think he's got a chance? I don't know. Also going up against Delroy Lindo, who I feel like I didn't really experience until movies like The Five Bloods, where I was like, oh, this dude fucking rocks. And then going back and experiencing more of his filmography, he is sensational. Jacob Elordi, obviously, this is his first, which it's crazy to think that the guy from Saltburn, the guy from Euphoria, is now getting nominated for his performance. We're in Minneapolis, so the sirens make sense. I'm sorry. It's been a rough week here. But Jacob Elordi, you could speak to that. Jacob Elordi getting nominated for Frankenstein, like I said, he caught a head of steam late in the awards kind of push, and I'm not really surprised by that. Some notable omissions potentially here. We got Paul Mescal, which he was kind of in that conversation for a while for Hamnet. We got Kevin O'Leary, Mr. Wonderful
Mr. Vampire.
Himself. Mr. Vampire. Maybe I'm a vampire.
Actually a vampire,
Let's
maybe.
rewrite that. Let's change that because people didn't like that. Kevin O'Leary for Marty Supreme. Miles Caton for Sinners. And then Adam Sandler, who really got a lot of buzz early on in the kind of awards season for his performance in Jay Kelly. I like this 5. Sure, you can kind of mix a couple. If you pull out Delroy Lindo, you're probably gonna put Miles in from Sinners too. So it's a lot of give and take here. I like this group of 5. Like I have no issues with it. Who I think's gonna win is not necessarily who I want to win, but I'm still okay with that for the most part. But regardless, however this plays out, Benicio del Toro, You gave the performance that is going to satisfy college freshmen for the rest of life. Like, the rest of eternity. From here on out, you are just going to inspire every freshman's dorm room.
That's going to be remembered over any of the other performances.
Oh, yeah.
Whoever wins, it doesn't matter. Yeah.
Does not matter.
Yeah. It is a good group of 5 for sure. This one, to me, was kind of like Kate Hudson getting in for Best Actress. I was like, oh, that's kind of a surprise. Delroy Lindo actually was a surprise for me because Paul Mescal had kind of been that 5th one, and those 5, excluding Delroy Lindo, it seemed like they were the 5 kind of going in being like, yeah, they're kind of locks. Mm-hmm. And, like, I love Delroy Lindo. I mean, he should have got nominated for Da 5 Bloods, you mentioned.
Oh, yeah.
He got snubbed for that movie. I think that is a snub. But, like, for me personally, I think Miles Caton from Sinners is the definition of a supporting performance in the, not just the acting, but the musical performance, the I Lied to You, like the whole, everything with Miles Caton. I think the Delroy Lindo of it all, of kind of being like, well, we want to get him his first nomination. I love it. I'm so happy about it. But I just think if we're excluding the kind of outside narrative of it, I'm like, Miles Caton, I think, deserved it a bit more. That's okay. But, it's again, a great group of 5. It's fun to see. I think it is kind of it's not settled yet. It's kind of exciting. Like, Jacob Lordy won Critics' Choice. Stellan Skarsgård won Golden Globes. We'll see who wins at Actor Awards. It's
Sean Penn.
Sean Penn was the favorite for a long time, and he's fallen off a cliff. He's not going to win.
I don't think I've ever rooted for Sean Penn in my entire fucking life. And that's coming from a guy that likes Sean Penn. In One Battle After Another, dude got bricked up in the first 5 minutes of the movie for me.
Colonel Lockjaw? Crazy name.
Lockjaw?
That's fucking
With
awesome.
that wild-ass walk that he's got?
Yeah.
Yeah. Benicio del Toro is the more memorable and will have a lasting legacy.
The memeable one.
And he's the memeable one. But Sean Penn, he gave something really, truly special in this movie. And I hope that he wins this one. I don't know. I don't care. I like these 5. Sean Penn, you did something special, though, so... If it was up to me, he'd get it.
Raped in reverse is a crazy phrase.
That, and then watching everyone else in that scene do the mental math of, what the fuck did this guy just say to us? And how does that work?
Crazy.
Amazing movie. This is really just boiling down to, like, holy fuck, I love One Battle After Another so much.
I thought this was going to be the year that Adam Sandler got an Oscar nomination. For Uncut Gems, he missed out, and for this movie, he missed out.
What did he win? What was the Independent Spirit Awards or what?
The Indie Spirit Awards for Uncut Gems. He gave an incredible speech.
He's like, this is the personality.
Yeah,
best personality.
Like,
as opposed to best looking.
He keeps putting in great performances and doesn't get recognized by the Academy, which is very sad because he's great in Jay Kelly and in Uncut Gems. But moving into Best Supporting Actress now, this was actually the category I was most curious to see, because there was like 7 people that I thought could get in for this one, and I didn't quite know how it was going to shake out. The way it did shake out is that 2 sentimental value actresses got in, Elle Fanning and Inga Ibzadeh-Lilius, and then Amy Madigan for Weapons, Tiana Taylor for One Battle After Another, and Wunmi Mosaku got in for Sinners. The big omissions here, and this is for me kind of like I said, the one I was looking forward to the most, would be like, who the fuck is going to get in here? Ariana Grande got left out for Wicked for Good. She had been, a lot of people just kind of being like, yeah, she's a lock. Like, she got nominated last year. She had hit all the precursor awards too, which was surprising because it's like you hit Critics' Choice, Golden Globes, Actor Awards. Like, you kind of expect that person to get in. Also, Odessa Zion, I personally would have put in for Marty Supreme. I think she's incredible in that movie. She has some of my favorite scenes in that movie. And then Emily Blunt for The Smashing Machine had fallen off a bit, but it's kind of the same deal with like The Rock. When that movie first came out, people were talking about that. So, it's always interesting with the 2 nominees from the same movie, much like, Benicio del Toro and Sean Penn, and then with Elle Fanning and Inga Lilius, where it's kind of like they cancel out a lot of the times. But not always. I mean, in 2018 Oscars, Sam Rockwell won Supporting Actor, but Woody Harrelson was also nominated in that category. Yeah. But you'll see it a lot of times where 2 from the same movie kind of cancel out because they split the vote a bit and then give it to somebody else. They can break it like Sam Rockwell did or other examples. But again, great great nominations here. Amy Madigan, I believe it was 1986 that she was nominated for her first Oscar, Twice in a Lifetime. So now I guess twice in a lifetime she's been nominated for 2 Oscars, so that's cool. But yeah, Tiana Taylor. I don't think Elle Fanning's been nominated. I think everybody else
Elle Fanning is for the first time.
Yeah, so everybody else besides Amy Madigan got their first Oscar nomination, which is great. Happy with the group, but I genuinely think Ariana Grande was snubbed. I will say that. I think that she really kind of took more of a lead role, again, of lead or supporting. I think Ariana Grande is incredible in Wicked for Good. I love her.
Who do you take out to put Ariana Grande in?
I would take out Wunmi Masaku, but I think, again, I don't have a problem with the 5. I just think Ariana Grande in Wicked for Good, with the musical performance too, and just kind of with both movies as well, kind of taking that into account, I would put her in. I was very surprised to not see her get in.
Yeah, we'll talk about Wicked for Good a little bit more, specifically Ariana Grande in Wicked for Good a little bit more later on in terms of the original song. I agree that I would potentially switch Ariana Grande with Wunmi Masaku. I don't know if I would call it a snub. It falls into I would like to have had it this way. I would have liked to have it shifted, but I don't think it's an absolute Again, I don't think Ariana Grande, if she was nominated, she was going to win. Right now, it's feeling like Amy Madigan's going to win this award. I like this group. Sentimental Value is kind of gaining a lot of steam late, and I wasn't really expecting that. So I don't know who this is going to go to, but with Amy Madigan, I just like that kind of outsider horror genre. It's such a fun performance that she gives. So I like this group. Not to slight Wunmi Masaku, because she's fantastic in Sinners, but I think going into this announcement of the nominations, the 2 people that I was expecting were Amy Madigan and Ariana Grande to get nominated.
Yeah.
And sure, Tiana Taylor, the rest would fill out. But, I was a bit surprised to not see Ariana Grande on this list, which, again, like I said, we'll talk about that, or more about Ariana Grande and Wicked for Good in Best Original Song. Moving into Best Original Screenplay, the nominations were Blue Moon, It Was Just an Accident, Marty Supreme, Sentimental Value, and Sinners. One of the more notable kind of omissions, one of the things that people brought up is Weapons. Weapons is an awesome movie. It's a great horror movie. It has a wild story, and it follows a lot of really interesting, idiosyncratic, and eclectic characters. Didn't make the list. Sorry Baby, also from first-time director and first-time writer. Eva Victor?
Mm-hmm.
And then we also got The Secret Agent. Those 3 are kind of some bigger omissions. I would have loved to see Sorry Baby on this list. Julia Roberts shouting out at the Golden Globes. You brought that to my attention. I went back and watched that video. I was just like, oh, that's really fucking sweet.
Yeah, right?
Goddamn.
Yeah.
I like the 5 that are here. As someone who just watched Blue Moon, I get it being on this list. But that would be the weakest of the 5 for me. So I think if I was going to switch out anything, it would be to pull Blue Moon to put something else in. And I personally would rather have seen Sorry Baby on this list than Blue Moon. But I'm not going to say it's a snub. I really like this group of 5 still, overall. I'm not surprised to see Sinners. I'm not surprised to see Marty Supreme. Or I'm so fucking excited that It Was Just an Accident is on this list. That's the biggest thing for me. I think that this is a good tight group of 5. If I were to switch out, I'm pulling for Blue Moon. But overall, I think that this is a pretty safe, good list of 5 movies.
Mm-hmm. I mean, Sorry Baby's not really a snub for me. I think it's going to clean up at the Indie Spirit Awards for sure. Yeah. That's an Indie Spirit Awards movie to a T.
For sure.
And I was just hoping it could maybe sneak into the Oscars, but didn't quite get there. For Best Adapted Screenplay, these are the 5 that kind of a lot of people had said for a while. Begonia, Frankenstein, Hamnet, One Battle After Another, and Train Dreams. Kind of the notable omissions here. No Other Choice was one. I mean, it's been in a lot of categories kind of towing into. But then Wake Up Dead Man. This is the first time a Knives Out movie has not been nominated for screenplay.
Yeah.
Both Knives Out and Glass Onion got nominated in adapted screenplay. It's weird that they have it in this category. It's not adapted from something, but because it's from the first movie, it's adapted.
Sequel.
It's weird how they classify things, whatever. It's like with the like scores sometimes, like Dune 2 last year, they're like, well, that doesn't really...
It builds off of the first one.
It's like,
shut
stop,
the fuck up.
stop.
Come on.
I would have... I mean, we talked about it before recording, like, Wake Up Dead Man, I think, deserved to be on this list. I would prefer it over Frankenstein, personally. I like Frankenstein. I'm not as high on it as... the Academy is, but I don't think it's a bad movie. I just Wake Up Dead Man. I think there's so many the religious themes. We've talked about that, but again, a very solid group of 5 that had kind of been expected for a while.
Yeah, this one makes me a little mad because it ties into a trope within movies of this past year that really bothered me. Not that I think that Wake Up Dead Man not being on this list is a snub. Wake Up Dead Man is my favorite of the Knives Out movies, and I think it is the best written of the Knives Out movies. And for it to be the only one that's not nominated for this award, kind of, I'm a little salty about. But Frankenstein falls into, we're just going to throw chapter cards into a fucking movie. And we're going to segment our movie out like that and really fucking just build out the pacing and make you sit for a lot longer. And make you more cognizant, more aware of how long you're fucking sitting in the theater. I like Frankenstein. And I think it is a well-written movie, but I think Wake Up Dead Man, again, I think it should be an original screenplay, but fine if you want to throw it into this category. I think it is a better written story. Yep. I've never seen the dissection of faith, the importance of it, or how it's superfluous to life. I've never seen that kind of balance handled so well in a film in my entire life. And I love movies like The Silence. I love The Passion of Christ. I like The Last Temptation of Christ. I will watch religious material. This movie, Wake Up Dead Man, handles it in the most nuanced and relatable way for me. And I think, yes, this is a personal opinion. I'm not going to say that this is a snub, but it still does kind of bother me a little bit that Frankenstein is the easy one to pull from. And I would put Wake Up Dead Man in its place. Train Dreams, I'm not touching. Love that movie. I think it's great. I obviously, like... It's hard when you talk about best adapted screenplay. I haven't read a lot of these originally. I have read Frankenstein. And I'm like, cool, you just broke it up. Yeah. You divided it in a little bit of a different way. Good job. Great movie. But I would put Wake Up Dead Man in its place. Still, everyone else in that kind of category, I'm a big fan of. So overall, I'm not mad at... Correction. I'm not that mad.
Yeah, be mad at it.
I want Wake Up Dead Man in there.
Yeah, fuck it.
But... it's fine. I think that would have been one of the only places for Wake Up Dead Man to get an Oscar nom.
100%.
So I was really rooting for it in that spot. So I'm a little upset to see it. In terms of other spots where I thought I would see Wake Up Dead Man, moving into the inaugural award show nominations for the Best Casting Award, or Best Achievement in Casting, the nominations were Hamnet, Marty Supreme, One Battle After Another, Sinners, and The Secret Agent. I love these nominations. I love these nominees. Marty Supreme, you can't really speak negatively about a lot of these movies. Hamnet is the one that I'm going to pull on a little bit. I think Wake Up Dead Man. You got Josh Brolin, Jeremy Renner, Kerry Washington, Daniel Craig, Josh O'Connor. You have heavy
Thomas
hitters
Hayden Church.
of heavy hitters. You got Thomas Hayden Church, which we're drinking red wine. It's time to talk about Sideways and how great that fucking movie is.
Oh, yeah.
Thomas Hayden Church, you have such a great cast. I don't understand how that doesn't get in over Hamnet. But I will say, Paul Mescal, Jussie Buckley, both all-timer performances. And not only that, the biggest hurdle, I think, in a lot of kind of modern film, or just me watching any movie in terms of acting, if you have to look at child actors, that is the hardest sell for me, personally, is can you convince me that this kid can act? They're not just reading what is being fed to them. Do I believe that this is an actual person? The child actors, is it Cody Jupe? Is that right?
Jacoby Jupe.
Jacoby Jupe.
Yep.
Sensational. honestly, he's not better than Jesse Buckley, but he is the second best performance in that fucking movie. It's crazy, and I've never seen a kid that good. Still, I'm putting best casting collective. I'm putting Wake Up Dead Man in this list probably over Hamnet.
This is an interesting category because it is the first year, like you mentioned, and it'll be interesting in years going forward because I think we're already seeing it this year of individual people not getting nominated, but the Academy wanting to recognize the movie. So Paul Mescal not getting in for Hamnet, we'll put it in for Best Casting. Yeah. Odessa Zion and no other supporting performances in for Marty Supreme, put it in casting.
Kevin O'Leary, yeah.
Yeah, and so I think that also with this category, like, I think that the two that I think are the best of these five that are the best casted are Sinners and One Battle After Another. And the reason I say that is because they do a great job of blending kind of experienced actors with younger. So One Battle After Another, you have Leo. Teyana Taylor's been around for a little bit. Benicio del Toro, Sean Penn. But then you have Chase Infinity, who is a newcomer. And then with Sinners, you have, the Michael B. Jordan, Haley Steinfeld, but then you have the Miles Caton coming in of the newcomers. So I think that's what it should be. But it's an interesting category, and I'm still sort of on the fence about it being added. I would have loved to see stunts over casting, because I think with casting, it's a bit more of the actor and director working together, of Leo DiCaprio saying, I want to work with Paul Thomas Anderson, and it's not necessarily the casting director that is involved in that. Not taking anything away from all of the work that they do for all of the other extras and supporting roles. That takes so much work. But for kind of what this award is going to recognize, it's like, yeah, Michael B. Jordan and Ryan Coogler, they work together. It's not the casting director that's doing that.
Yeah.
So it's an interesting award. It'll be interesting to see. I do have, I think Sinners is probably the favorite here, I would guess, if I had to pick.
That or One Battle After Another. And that's honestly what you could say about most of the awards that they're both nominated for. It's between those two. But Sinners would definitely be on that list.
Yeah, so it's an interesting award. It'll be fun to see the first iteration of that and tracking that this year.
To me, going into it, I just read it as best ensemble at this point.
Essentially, yeah.
Essentially. So I'm like, how do you not look at Wake Up Dead Man? Again, that's just me kind of harping on it. I will say, all of these films, especially The Secret Agent, I don't remember what, I think you brought it up to me, the supporting actress who...
Tanya Maria.
She's
incredible.
Maybe an omission for some best supporting actress. She is sensational in The Secret Agent. I love that woman so much. If I could... There's a list of maybe 2 to 3 actors I really need to meet in my life. One being Jack Black, the other being Tom Hardy. Fucking throw Tanya Maria on there too.
What a group.
Why not? What a weird room. But yeah, I need to meet those 3 people. I'm interested to see kind of how this boils down and how it settles, who wins, so we can kind of have at least some sort of a precedent going into next year and in years following to see how casting is going to be kind of weighted and how we're going to kind of vote for who did the best. Okay, well, is it best ensemble? Basically.
Right. It's interesting. Into best cinematography, going forward with a lot of the technical categories, it really is, which almost every year it's a variation of the 10 best picture nominees, which always frustrates me because 10 movies aren't the encapsulation of all these other categories throughout the year. But that's kind of just how it works out in the Oscars. But best cinematography, Frankenstein, Marty Supreme, One Battle After Another, Sinners, and Train Dreams. I'd vote for Train Dreams. I think that movie looks beautiful, and I really like just the way that, that's used with the characters in that movie and kind of how it's represented. But another good group of movies here.
Yeah, great group. I think that this is the one that I want Train Dreams to win the most.
Best chance, probably?
Best chance for Train Dreams to win. So that is, going into the Oscar noms, that was the one that I was like, all right, well, Train Dreams will at least be in that cinematography conversation. Frankenstein obviously makes sense to be there. Marty Supreme, I don't think of that movie for its cinematography.
Ooh.
I'm sure it's great. Frankenstein, I can see images of that film. I can see shots in that film specifically. Same with Train Dreams. Same with Sinners. One battle after another. I'm mostly just thinking of that car chase, but that is the cinematography. Marty Supreme, aside from the interesting title sequence or introduction to that film, I'm not thinking of a lot of the shots in that movie. So, granted, I might have to rewatch it. But
I will like not push back on it, but I'll just say like Darius Kanji did the cinematography for Marty Supreme, and he also did for Eddington and Mickey 17. I think he had a really good year, I think like Marty Supreme, there's a lot of different individual shots in the movie that may not be flashy like a Frankenstein, or may not be. It's more of a, I don't know if subtle's the right word, but I think it's just very impressive work from a very experienced cinematographer that is somebody that I just love and love seeing any combination of shots that he is like, that's what I want to show.
You're correct in saying that is a great year between Mickey 17, Eddington, which I love,
Beautiful
and didn't get
movie.
enough fucking attention, and Marty Supreme, which is great. But I don't think of the way that film is composed compared to these other films. So it was a bit of a surprise to me, but I also I'm not thinking about Marty Supreme in that way. I'm thinking of the performances. I'm thinking about the writing and the direction. But honestly, Marty Supreme being nominated in any category, every other nominee should be quivering a little bit just because Marty Supreme scares me. One Battle After Another scares me, and Sinners scare me. Those are like the
big three.
Yeah, that is the big three of 2025.
For sure.
For Best Film Editing, not a lot of surprises here. We got F1, the movie. We got Marty Supreme. We got One Battle After Another. We got Sinners, and we got Sentimental Value. It's not listed here, but I'm personally going to put this out there. And to me, this would be a snub. I recently today saw one of the international feature nominees, which we will talk about later, but spoiler alert, the voice of Hin Rajab was nominated for Best International Feature. I saw that movie today. It is the best movie I've seen in a long time. It is my favorite movie of 2025, immediately nullifying my top 10 list of 2025 because it just skunked everything else. It just went from nothing to number one. I loved this movie. And it lives and dies within the edit and how they incorporate real-life events into that movie. Real-life recordings, real-life footage. That movie is edited perfectly. I think that not only if that movie gets nominated, it wins. That is a snub to me. So, I don't say that there's a lot of snubs. I would say Toni Collette with Hereditary, that is a snub that people would look back on. To me, Denis Villeneuve with Dune Part 2, that's a snub. He didn't get nominated. He, to me, won that year. He was the best director there was.
For Dune and Dune Part 2.
Yeah. Both.
Either one. Yeah.
Mostly Dune Part 2, but like, sure, both.
Yeah.
To me, best editing, 100%, the voice of Hin Rajab, that is the best edited thing I saw this year. I get the other nominees, and I think that this will likely go F1's way, and I 100% understand that. But the voice of Hin Rajab was completely overlooked in terms of a lot of other categories aside from international feature. I feel like that movie is not going to get its flowers, and it deserves them because this movie is remarkable. And if you haven't seen it, which I know you haven't, go see it because it's fantastic. Find a theater. If it's the only theater in your state and it's 3 hours away, drive 3 hours to go see this movie. It's fantastic. So everything else in this category, before I saw this movie, before I saw Voice of Hin Rajab, I would say, yes, this is a great group of five, even within Sentimental Value, another international feature. It is a well-edited movie, but it still boils down to, I saw a movie today that fucking floored me, mostly in the edit, and I think that it could've, should've, probably would've won if nominated. So, I don't say that there's a lot of snubs. This was a snub to me. I like everything else nominated, but it's gonna this award, when it's given out this year, there's gonna be an asterisk to it for me, similar to when Denis Villeneuve wasn't nominated for Best Director for Dune Part 2.
This of the five that are nominated here, I mean, I think F1 sort of is the front runner. To me, that's kind of the most impressive of the editing, of reining in all of the different. The impressive technology of the cameras within the cars, the wide shots of that, just like reining that all into such a well-edited movie. kind of seems like the front runner, but I don't know. It'll be interesting to see. Moving into Best Production Design, we have Frankenstein, Hamnet, Marty Supreme, Sinners, and One Battle After Another. This was a big one, like Wicked for Good not being in this category. It's wild to me, because like Wicked, the first movie from last year, it won 2 Oscars for, I believe it was production design and costume design, if I remember right. It was, yeah, hold on, I'm actually looking it up.
I'm looking it up. You keep talking.
Yeah, hold on. Yeah. But even if, like, the quality of Wicked for Good is below the first movie, which I think we both agree on that. Like, it took a step down. I really liked that movie, but I think that the production design continues to be great in Wicked for Good. Like, there's no change in that. So the fact that it won last year and then isn't nominated this year for essentially like sort of the same thing, like, not that that's a bad thing. Like the production design is still really good in this movie. Really surprising to me. I don't know. It's weird to me. I think this could be a category where Frankenstein gets a win. But it's, I think Sinners also has a chance here maybe. So, just this continues the Wicked for Good kind of, I don't know, the overall, every branch of the Academy, because the Academy is very different of where it has the individual branches that are voting on these awards and didn't recognize it. I was frustrated by it. I think I like Wicked for Good more than... I feel like we both liked it more than probably most people.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I still enjoy that movie a lot. And the production design is still really good in that movie. And the fact that it won last year, it's not in here, kind of weird.
Yeah, I'm still like trying to dig.
I found it.
I
Wicked,
googled it and it just said it won 2 of the 10 it was nominated for, including Best Picture. And I'm like,
so
okay, cool.
It did win production design, costume design. The first Wicked won last year for those 2. I didn't get nominated in either one, so that was very weird to me. Yeah,
it is kind of surprising. I remember after that first movie came out and it being in that conversation, it winning that award, and then going back, and a lot of people mentioned the color in that film and it being kind of more muted than it probably should have been, or like the color palette, and I'm like, that doesn't 100% lead into production design, but it does bleed into it a little bit at least. So I still am a little bit surprised. Granted, you have Frankenstein, which I'm not surprised that being here. Like, of course that movie is going to be within production design. It's a Guillermo del Toro movie. Of course it's going to look beautiful. If he can make Crimson Peak, which is a relatively, to me, boring movie, very visually interesting, that's all on Guillermo del Toro. Like, I'm not surprised by that. And Hamnet, period piece. Marty Supreme, period piece. Sinners, period piece, with vampires. So I'm not surprised by a lot of these, and it all really works. I think, again, I wouldn't have been surprised to see Wicked for Good. I'm not that surprised not seeing it with everything else that was nominated. It is just kind of a shift coming from, well, it won last year. Did it win this year? Or did it get nominated this year?
It got swept up in the Wicked for Good's not as good, and people being, like, not recognizing that. Like, no, it's still good in certain areas.
Yeah, I do think that the movie was kind of played down a little bit, or people thought it was less than it actually was. I still think it's a solid ending. It's just a lot of the most interesting, a lot of the best music, all that stuff is kind of compiled within that first half.
Right. Yeah.
A lot of the greatness of that first half still bleeds into that second half, so, like, I don't know. We both like Wicked for Good more than most people. I think I would have liked to see at least some representation in terms of any of the different awards and different nominees of this year, so I'm a little bit let down, but I'm not the most let down in this category for Wicked for Good. Moving into Best Costume Design, I like the place of a question mark as I'm reading off of a list that Corey put together, but Best Costume Design, the nominees are Avatar, Fire and Ash, Frankenstein, Hamnet, Sinners, Marty Supreme. The question mark belonging to Avatar, Fire and Ash.
What?
Corey explained that a little bit.
I don't understand, like, what costumes do you remember from Avatar, Fire and Ash? A loincloth on Spider and also digitally created, which I get is a costume in a way.
But we're talking about design. It's not about like the actual integration and the realization of it. It's the design. So
what costume? They're blue people.
The only thing I can think of to push against what you're saying, but also it's not enough for me to be like, yeah, it should be on here, is the trading nation or the nation of is it the wind or the air nation?
With the air balloon people?
At the very beginning. Yes.
What do they call
the
it?
The air balloon people. The people at the very beginning that they get on the trade ship. That is the only part of costumes designing that I could think about that was anything different from what we've seen before.
They have straps of cloth.
They have robes.
They have robes. They have robes
of
straps
different colors.
Of cloth. And like compare that to like Wicked for Good, where like all of Oz is filled out.
I'm not saying you're wrong.
I'm just very confused as to this nomination. I don't. Avatar: Fire and Ash, I think we'll talk about shoo-in for visual effects. Like yes, but I don't know. This one to me was just like this seems like again Wicked for Good won this award last year. Paul Tazewell, he actually did a lot of work in Minneapolis at a lot of theater work in Minneapolis where. I worked for the news, and one of our reporters interviewed him last year and talked about just like coming from working in Minneapolis to becoming an Oscar winner. It was really cool. Like it was great just to see how his journey, and like I think he did like great work again in Wicked for Good. So I don't know. It's just weird to see Avatar: Fire and Ash with like Una Chaplin's Fire Nation thing with like a strap over her body and being like. That's good, and a loincloth is costume design.
But it still feels within the realm of everything we've already seen from Avatar.
Yeah,
so it's like, I get your complaint. I think... But then you could also say, I guess, Wicked for Good is the sequel to Wicked, so we've already seen a lot of costume design within that universe. I'm saying that as someone who would still ultimately would rather had seen Wicked for Good in that place over Avatar: Fire and Ash.
I just think with like the Wizard of Oz things, like even the like Scarecrow and Tin Man, like the makeup is good in a lot of those, but also like the costume design I think is an important part of those too.
I'm happy that you brought that up. The design of the Tin Man was one of my favorite aspects of Wicked for Good. The design of Scarecrow, a lot of people said looked like Ryan Reynolds, so I was like, yeah, I mean, sure, whatever. Ryan Reynolds is a good-looking
not
dude,
wrong.
So that's not wrong, so fine, whatever. Yeah. But I do think that Wicked for Good could have potentially taken over that other spot. I don't think it's necessarily a snub, but it is kind of a somewhat glaring omission since we are talking about Wicked not getting any nominations. When Avatar: Fire and Ash is like it's an alright movie.
Yeah, it's okay.
Talking about best sound. Some of these are
very quickly. I did want to mention on best costume design before we move in. Ruth E. Carter became the most nominated black woman in Oscars history with 5 nominations. She passed Viola Davis. So that was kind of a cool thing. Viola Davis, she had a lot of nominations for like Doubt, The Help, Fences. She won for, and then Ma Rainey's Black Bottom. She was really good in. So just Ruth E. Carter. She's putting in great work. I think she did work on like Malcolm X back in the day, and like a lot of really good Black Panther. Both movies she won for costume design. So
I don't know if it was in an interview specifically with Ruth E. Carter, but in talking about a lot of the costume design for Sinners, a lot of it supposedly was supposed to be for the Marvel Blade film. And they reworked it.
Yeah.
I don't know if I've seen reports of that, but it was an interview done, I think, by Robert Meyer Burnett, and she or someone within the production of Sinners let loose that, this is actually like a lot of repurposed stuff from what we were originally going to do with Blade within the Marvel Universe. So that's kind of cool. Mm-hmm. But Ruth E. Carter, I think you have a pretty solid chance at maybe even winning this award. So that's really cool to see that you were also the most nominated black woman in Oscar.
Yeah, she's great. She does a good job.
Yeah.
Best sound, we had F1, Frankenstein, One Battle After Another, Sinners, and Seurat, which we'll talk about in a little bit here. Again, a good group. I think F1 is kind of the front runner here. And then, omissions, we talked about it, I think, weeks back when Warfare was not on the Oscar shortlist. Yeah. Crazy. That sound is so integral to that movie of these soldiers in this thing and just ears ringing and bombs going off.
One of the most intense viewing experiences of my entire life.
Very surprising. Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning. I did want to mention quickly, just that Dead Reckoning Part 1, or Dead Reckoning, whatever you want to call it, was the first Mission Impossible movie to get nominated for some Oscars. I believe it was Best Sound, and then I forget the other award, maybe Visual Effects. But Final Reckoning didn't get an award. I think the sound is actually pretty good in that movie as well. And then I wanted to shout out Springsteen. I think like sound is a very core aspect of that movie, not in a way that's like as loud as other movies, but the idea of sound on a very acoustic album and how the character is using sound within the movie, and I think it's actually pretty good. So again, Springsteen didn't get any nominations, but
which I'm okay with. That means I don't have to watch it.
It's a good movie. I like it, but Warfare was the one for me. Just like I knew it was obviously wouldn't get a nomination because it wasn't on the short list, but
that was an oversight. It not being on the short list.
Yeah, and Warfare was looked over for a lot of things, but I think F1 is kind of the big one here.
For sure, 100%. I like F1. I feel like it's going to clean up kind of a lot of these more like technical crafts within the award show. So I'm not surprised, and I'm also really excited for F1 having a presence within the Best Sound nominees. Moving into Best Makeup and Hairstyling, we have Frankenstein, Kokohu, I believe, Sinners, The Smashing Machine, and The Ugly Stepsister, which is a movie that I was not expecting to see a nomination for. I watched it earlier this year with my wife. We fucking loved it. It was so much fun. So I was really thrilled to see that pop up. I didn't know if it was really... I don't pay much attention to award shows aside from the Oscars, so I didn't know if it was really in contention for a lot of this stuff. I'm thrilled to see that here. One of the omissions being, again, one that we talked about with production design, all these other things, Wicked for Good not making that kind of short list. I'm not the most upset about that. I really like The Ugly Stepsister, like I mentioned, Smashing Machine. With Dwayne Johnson's amazing performance in that movie, the other thing that you can highlight is that he's somehow somewhat unrecognizable in that role. Which is something crazy to say about one of the most profitable actors of all time. Sinners, not surprised by that. Frankenstein, not surprised by that. Kokohu. I said it the same way 3 times. Is that right? You wrote it. You know it.
I would guess Kakuho. I don't know. You got it. Try
I
it.
have had half a bottle of wine.
Kakuho.
You said it differently.
No.
You said it differently that time than the first time.
I don't think Kakuho. I said it the same 3 times in a row, and I think the wine's hitting you.
Dry January.
We're good.
Kakohu? Sure.
Just how it's spelled, I think I would probably go with that.
Okay, this is one of the movies that, within the nominees, I haven't seen yet. I'm really excited to watch it whenever it's available to me. Anywhere near me, on streaming, in theaters, I will check it out because I'm going to watch every nominee this year, and I've made a lot of headway that way. I can't speak to that one, but every other film on this list is not a surprise to me. So I would maybe say Frankenstein just because of, obviously, like, it's Frankenstein. Like, the makeup of Frankenstein, and also it being a Guillermo del Toro film, and the design of that. So everything that you'd expect within a Guillermo del Toro movie being packaged in his interpretation of Frankenstein, that to me is best makeup and hairstyling. But obviously I haven't seen everything in this category. I'm really excited by it. I like this category overall, and I'm not too upset by things that didn't make it into this top 5. So, Corey, what about you?
I agree with Frankenstein being kind of the front runner. I mean, we talked about it in September with the Smashing Machine being kind of like, yeah, The Rock's probably not going to get nominated. Emily Blunt probably not, but makeup and hairstyling probably will be. We were kind of right on that. Yeah. I mean, a lot of other people had predicted that too, so happy to see it get a nomination because I think it is deserved. Into Best Original Score, we have Begonia, Frankenstein, Hamnet, Sinners, and One Battle After Another. Kind of the predicted 5, I would say. For me personally, I would have loved to see Marty Supreme. Daniel Lopatine's score, I think, was great. It's very similar in kind of the 80s synth feel to his Uncut Gems score, which I think just propels the movie along. And then F1, I was actually like making the notes for my Oscar nominees, and I was listening to Hans Zimmer's score for F1, and it's so good. Like, it's incredible. Like, the original songs in that movie are good, but Hans Zimmer's score is fucking incredible. I would have loved to have seen that. And then Tron Ares, kind of the first time we mentioned that, but Nine Inch Nails coming in after Daft Punk did the score for Tron Legacy. I think the score is really good for that movie. We'll talk about it again in a second here, but some movies left off. But again, like, I'm very happy to see Begonia. I think that score is very fun. I think Sinners kind of is the front runner here, though.
Yeah, Ludwig is hard to beat. I feel like, especially with Sinners. I'm happy that you're showing some love to F1 not being on this list. That is the one, maybe aside from Sinners, that I can most think of and hear in my head already, even just sitting here. Tron Ares, I didn't think really had a shot. I love that score. It's fantastic. I like that movie more than most, so I wish it could have been on here. But again, this list of 5, it's almost expected at this point, so I wasn't that surprised by it. And I'm really excited to just see how it plays out, but I do think Ludwig van Göransson, it's hard to compete with him. Moving into Best Original Song, which I was hoping at the outset of this recording would be something that Corey would have to announce, but sadly, as someone who watches all of the Oscar nominees, or is going to watch all the Oscar nominees, I had to sit down and watch the song Dear Me from the film Diane Warren the Relentless, which is a documentary about Diane Warren, which Diane Warren has been nominated, I want to say 16 times?
17 with this movie,
This is the 17th time?
Yep.
She hasn't won a competitive Oscar. She has won an honorary Oscar, which, this is a bit of a tangent. She has made great music in the past. I'm getting overexposed to her getting nominated for every fucking thing she touches. I don't need her to get nominated, especially for this movie, so maybe we'll talk about... This is going to be a little bit more of a lengthy conversation. I'll get the rest of the nominations out of the way. We got Golden from K-Pop Demon Hunters, which is definitely going to win. Who's surprised by that? Fucking no one. A 5-year-old could predict that. I Lied to You from Sinners. Great music in that movie, but Golden was a cultural phenomenon. Yep. So that's going to take away. Sweet Dreams from Joy. Sweet Dreams of Joy from Viva Verdi. Have you heard of this? Have you heard of this? Have you seen it? Have you seen it? It's nowhere to be found. I'm looking for it, and I'm pissed about it. It's an Oscar-nominated film. Why can't I fucking watch it easily? Train Dreams from Train Dreams. Don't remember that song at all. And I like that movie a lot. So, back to it. How the fuck is The Girl in the Bubble... I don't say snub. This is a snub. How is The Girl in the Bubble the best song in Wicked for Good? An original song for the fucking movie. How is that not in this fucking category over Diane Warren's old-ass, formulaic, bullshit, 13-year-old written, cliche-ridden lyrics of Dear Me? Of what if I write a song about my entire legacy, speaking to a younger self, of guiding her like, oh, it's all worth it. It will make sense in the long run. It will all be okay. What? Just because she has a legacy does not mean... You're going to have to edit this later and take the volume.
Yeah.
And I should stop you.
That's all right.
2:14 in the
Yeah,
morning.
fuck it. That's
just
fine.
because she has a legacy and just because she's proven time and time again, yes, that she is a gifted songwriter. Someone with no formal, real music training, instruction. Good songwriter. Sure. Leave it at that. The Girl in the Bubble is the best fucking part of the film Wicked for Good. And it is maybe the reason why I would argue for Ariana Grande getting an acting nomination. But you wanted to give it to a woman that has been nominated now for her 17th Oscar. Has not won because you guys have deemed it not so. But we're going to give it to her. So this white boy who's 25 in Minnesota is going to have to watch this fucking Diane Warren documentary, which I watched this past week, and it's completely okay. To listen to a song that's completely unoriginal, unmotivating, formulaic. Again, a 13-year-old depressed girl with slits on her wrist could have wrote this fucking song. And not to be insensitive. Not to be too insensitive, because I'm sure that was insensitive. But holy fucking shit. I am not a good writer. I've written better shit than this song. Diane Warren, you're a gifted talent. But fucking retire! I don't need to hear from you ever again in my fucking life. And that's coming from a duo that, me? I like you more than Corey. But I'm more fed up with your bullshit because Wicked for Good, The Girl in the Bubble is the best song in that film. Ariana Grande is fantastic. It is the best set piece in the movie. And it not only that, it is an integral aspect to that movie. Dear Me is a latter portion of the documentary where you're like, I'm a little salty that I've never won an Oscar. Let me make a song that reminds the Oscars of all the songs that I've written for them that they've nominated me for that I haven't fucking won. Because I'm a badass. I'm a rebel. Cut your fucking hair and retire. Okay? I was really hoping you'd get this category.
I'm glad you got it. That was fun.
I'm pissed. It doesn't make sense.
No, it doesn't.
She has not to steal Corey's phrase, because every year you've been my best friend for as long as I can remember. And every year that we get the Oscar noms, you always say Diane Warren has a deal with the devil because how the fuck is she getting nominated?
Every year?
How the fuck did she get nominated for this? Listen to the song. It was performed by Kesha within the documentary. I don't know if that's who is technically getting this nomination with Diane Warren, but holy shit. Again, a 13-year-old, and this is insensitive, and I'm going to say it again, with slits on her wrist could have written a better song than this.
You know, I don't know how to follow that up. I have a lot of the same thing. I haven't listened to the song. Or
Golden's going to win, so it doesn't really
Golden's
matter.
Gonna win. It doesn't really fucking matter.
But fuck you for making me watch this documentary as a completionist that wants to watch everything that gets nominated.
I mean, you kind of talked about, like, The Girl in the Bubble is so crucial to the character. It's not just like an end credits song, like Train Dreams is like the end credits of that movie. Good song, but, like, it's kind of after the movie's done and whatever. Like, Girl in the Bubble, I think is so good, and I was so sad to not see that here. Even, like, No Place Like Home from Wicked for Good. Like, either of the original songs, I was just kind of like, man, like, neither of them could get in.
I will say, the one thing it has going for it, which is a common issue, which you already alluded to, that we both have with these best original songs, is that they typically play through the end credits. Mm-hmm. Dear Me doesn't play through the end credits. Thank you for that. That is the only positive I can throw your way. Everything else, fuck you, Diane Warren. Except for, thank you for what you did in Armageddon. That was great.
Okay.
That's awesome. She's great. She has a legacy. But what is contained within this documentary, as well as the song that she is shoehorning for the Oscars, just fucking begging for the Oscars to give her a competitive Oscar. It's not good. It's not good enough, and it's a waste of fucking time, and this documentary is a vanity piece of her being like, I'm a fucking rebel. Ain't I cool? Look at what I did. I do it all the time. I'm so good. Settle the fuck down. It's fine if someone else says it about you, but when you start saying, yeah, I did some pretty cool shit, I stop caring about you. So, Diane Warren, fucking retire.
I would also like to shout out As Alive As You Need Me To Be from Tron Ares. A great song.
A great song.
A great song. I think should have.
I need to take a break.
Should have been in here. Yeah, that was a rant. But yeah, you know, upset about the Wicked songs not getting in. Moving into Best Visual Effects, much like Song, where we kind of know who the winner is, Avatar: Fire and Ash is going to win this award.
And then the rest of them.
And then the rest of them are F1, Jurassic World Rebirth, The Lost Bus, and Sinners. Interesting to see The Lost Bus. I know you watched it. We'll talk about it in our main episode, and I'm excited to watch that one. But kind of the like omissions, I guess, Superman and the Fantastic Four First Steps. The superhero movies, we usually see like one of them get in every year, but I think Fantastic Four had great visual effects, also production design with the retro 60s futuristic kind of look to it. I think that actually could have been a really good nomination for the movie.
Think about the fucking when Sue Storm is giving birth, and fucking Shao Paul is coming through a time portal, fucking after him.
Looks great.
I watched The Lost Bus. It's a goodish thriller with a lot of VFX shots with very believable fire. Even after watching that, I'm still like, oh, Fantastic Four, like, it made Galactus tangible.
Yeah, it looks great.
It made Galactus feel real. It made fucking Ben Grimm feel good.
Yeah.
Like, I'm surprised by I'm the most surprised by Jurassic World Rebirth with some of the worst green screen, worst character feathering. This is like hard black, blurry rim to every character when they have a backdrop behind them. Granted, all of these complaints don't have a lot of weight because it's going to go to Avatar.
Yeah.
It's an Avatar film. Of course it's going to go to Avatar, and I'm not even mad about that. But, like, I think Fantastic Four over Jurassic World Rebirth or The Lost Bus. I think you can make an argument there. Moving into Best International Feature, which is something we've kind of been alluding to a lot because a lot of these have carried over into other categories. We have It Was Just an Accident, one of our favorite films from last year, Sentimental Value, Surat, The Secret Agent, and The Voice of Hin Rajab. Notable omissions, surprisingly, No Other Choice from Park Chan-wook, a fantastic film from last year, and The Sound of Falling. No Other Choice getting 0 nominations was something I did not have on my bingo card for these nominations. And I just, every category, I'm like, where is it? Like, come on, it's got to be somewhere. Best directing, potentially. But I am pretty happy with this 5. I haven't seen Surat yet. I've heard mostly good things, especially in terms of the sound within that film. I think that's the one, just because I don't know enough about it, that I'd be like, well, what about No Other Choice with that one? Like, I don't know. Sentimental Value has a good following. Secret Agent has a great following. No Other Choice was something so special from last year that I'm surprised to not see it on this core group of 5 for this award. I will say The Voice of Hin Rajab. Go see it as soon as you can. One of the best movies I've ever seen, I think. Corey, any surprises here aside from really No Other Choice?
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned No Other Choice, I think. Just as far as, like, how countries classify their movies, like, both It Was Just an Accident and Nouvelle Vague were from France, and I would have loved to see Nouvelle Vague. I think that movie's really good, but I understand why they went with It Was Just an Accident, just as far as, like, producing and who kind of was the main funder of the movie. I get why they went with that movie, but I think Nouvelle Vague was really good. I would have loved to have seen that if in an alternate universe where both could get in. I think that would be really cool. But Best Animated Feature, kind of the 5 that have been talked about for a while. Yeah. Arco, Elio, K-Pop Demon Hunters, Little Amelie, and Zootopia 2. I know some people were upset that some of the anime from this year, Chainsaw Man and Demon Slayer, didn't get in. It never felt like they were like huge contenders. These were kind of the 5 that we'd expected, so excited to see it. But yeah, K-Pop Demon Hunters is kind of taking the reins as far as this and Best Original Song.
I will say I'm thrilled to not see Chainsaw Man and Demon Slayer both not on this list, because then I don't have to go back and watch them. I think you reported to me, like, what if Demon Slayer gets nominated? It's like a 3-hour long fucking film.
Yeah.
So happy I don't have to watch that. I'm waiting eagerly to watch Arco. I think that this is kind of K-Pop Demon Hunters' award to lose, just because it's been so prevalent in pop culture and everyone has really reacted well to it. This is the core 5 for this award. Elio, I don't know if you really deserve to be in there, but
hey, we saw it together. It was fun.
It was fine. It was fun.
Get in my mouth.
It was.
Remember that?
Fucking say that again. We need to clip that. You edit these, but you should clip that and send that.
You said that first when we first talked about this movie.
I said get in my mouth.
That's what I said.
What? Oh, I heard a C word.
I said. Well,
we were talking at the same time. Say it.
I said get in my mouth.
Oh, I heard the other thing, which would have been. No, I'm not saying that. Anyway, moving into, we have the short films here. Best Animated Short, which I'm going to sit through all of these at the main cinema when they start showing them later on in February. Best Animated Short Film, we have Papillon, Forever Green, The Girl Who Cried Pearls, Retirement Plan, and The Three Sisters. Obviously, I can't speak to these, haven't seen them, but sounds great. Can't wait to watch them.
All right, we're going to run through these last couple. Best Live Action Short Film, Butcher Stain, A Friend of Dorothy, Jane Austen's period drama, The Singers, Two People Exchanging Saliva. Best Documentary Feature, The Alabama Solution, Come See Me in the Good Light, Cutting Through Rocks, Mr. Nobody Against Putin, The Perfect Neighbor. And then Best Documentary Short Film, All the Empty Rooms, Armed Only with a Camera, The Life and Death of Brent Renault, Children No More, Were and Are Gone, The Devil is Busy, and Perfectly Estrangedness. Like Mason mentioned, he'll probably watch these in the coming weeks and have some reviews of these. You've watched some of the documentary features. We'll talk about that on the main episode and kind of dive into those. So there it is. That's the... what other channels have hour and 20 minutes of diving into all of the Oscar nominees? I don't know. Everyone
Mostly me ranting about Dynamite.
fun conversation. I like going through all the nominees, not just like the main 5 or 6, kind of nominees or the categories there. So, definitely let us know what you think of what you think is a snub, omission, a surprise, things you were excited to see, things you would have loved to have seen on there. We certainly covered a lot of ground here today. Definitely fun, and the Oscars are our favorite day of the year. We can't wait to watch those, and we'll have our predictions video for the Oscars. We'll have our reactions to the ceremony, see how bad Conan O'Brien did, in my opinion. Because
I'm so excited.
I don't like Conan because he'll do bits of like, hey, we're wasting time at the Oscars, and we're making jokes about wasting time at the Oscars. Just present awards, please. Fuck.
I mean, I agree, and I like Conan O'Brien, but I agree.
Anyways, that's it for this episode today. Any final thoughts, just overall, on the Oscar nominations that you want to throw in before we end the episode on this?
No. This is like we said. This is a really exciting year. Mm-hmm. It's a lot of films that we both really enjoyed, and there's not there's things that we wish maybe shifted at least one measure either way, but. The nominations that we got this year are really exciting. It's just going to be a fun show, hopefully. And every year it just comes down to, can they crack the code on how the fuck to run an award show? Oh, they still haven't? It's the 98th one of them. Yep. How have they not done it right yet? So, I'm excited to watch it. We'll have issues with it, as we always do. But I'm excited to see kind of the winners that we get, because all these movies, most everything that got nominated is very deserving. So... I'm really excited for this year's Oscars. Yeah,
definitely check out any of these movies if you haven't seen them before. Kind of expose you if you haven't seen a lot of the Best Picture noms or anything else to watch these movies. So, thank you again for watching this video. We really do appreciate it. We'll have a main episode coming out of stuff we watched this week. A lot of things, Oscar nominations Mason watched. Some other things, if you're just craving for Silent Hill... you can probably hear that in a day. You want to hear me talk about all 3 Silent Hill movies? Hear me talk about it in a few hours or something. I don't know.
That's why we have 13 followers.
Viewers. Thank you. We appreciate that. But anyways, for Mason and I, it's late night. That's a wrap.